Good morning, everybody. Welcome to yoga. So if you're out there, give me a thumbs up or a little hello. Hi, Pam. Yes, it is gentle yoga. There might be one or two little extra somethings because I may have shortchanged some people in boot camp today. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Roberta. So it is past 10:15, so we're going to get started. Good morning, Elaine. I assume it's Elaine, not Bruce. And Janie, how is that happening with our 6 feet of social distancing? But I won't mention that, even though I already did. I figured it was Janie Rentschler. I get it. Okay, so let's start laying down because, I don't know, boot camp just took it out of me this morning. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Kim. I don't know what it was about boot camp, but it really just took it out of me. So let's just lay on down. Put your hands on your belly, your knees bent. Start your watch if you need to get credit for your workout. And see what Roberta said. I don't feel shortchanged. Good morning, Chris. It's going to be a little gentle today, so if you need to make it a little harder, I am going to add in some of the planks that we didn't get to. So let's just lay down with your hands on your belly, your knees bent, your eyes shut, and let's just breathe. So just feel your spine in your mat. So your low back, your mid back, your shoulder blades pressing down into your mat. The back side of your arms, the back of your head, your feet, all 10 of your toes touching the mat. And then just feel your whole body expand on your breath. So let's try a little different breathing pattern today. So let's try to breathe in through your nose. And then once you breathe about 4 counts in, I'd like you to hold your breath for about 4 or 5 counts. And then exhale through your mouth 5 or 6 counts. So you inhale for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale through your lips and your mouth for 5 or 6. So inhale through your nose for 4, hold for 4, exhale through your mouth for 5 or 6. So just do that a couple more times, 3 or 4 more rounds of breath like that. And then just come back to a normal breathing pattern, in through your nose and out through your nose. And just notice any effects of that different breath. That little longer exhale should calm you down a little bit quicker. Let's bring your arms up over your head and give yourself a big upper body stretch. And then just drop your knees side to side a couple of times. Right, and then just leave your knees over to the right. Interlace your fingers and just give yourself a big stretch with your upper body and reach through your left knee. Feeling a really nice side stretch on the left. Relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears. On an inhale breath, bring those knees back up through center and drop them to the other side. And again, on that inhale, feel that nice stretch on the right side. And then let's come back to center, bringing those knees in, giving yourself a big hug. And then just lower those feet right back down on the mat, arms over your head, elbows bent. Then bring those knees back up using your core strength to do that, giving yourself a little hug. And then lower everything back down again. Do that again, exhaling as you bring everything in. And inhaling as you drop your feet, open up your arms. One more time, bring those knees in. Turn your feet around your ankle joints. One direction. And then opposite direction. Making any kind of noise you want. And then let's just flex your feet. And then point your toes and flex your feet and point your toes. Then just put the bottoms of your feet together. Try to grab right above your ankles. Put your elbows at your inner thighs. Try to put the bottoms of your feet together if you can. In reclined cobbler's pose. And then just lower your lower body down to the mat. Your arms can be up over your head, elbows bent. Trying to let your knees drop down to the sides. And big deep breaths. One more breath. And let's bring those knees back up to center. Give yourself that hug again. And let's just rock a couple of times so you can come up to seated. And then if you want to sit on a block or just your booty or a pillow or something, whatever feels good, just find a nice comfortable position. Legs crossed or legs out in front. Or if you want to just lay down still, that's fine. Palms up, eyes shut. Just kind of roll your shoulders back a couple of times. And then just find a nice, still, comfortable position. And again, let's just try that breathing without holding your breath. So a little longer exhale breath. So maybe 4 counts of inhaling and 6 counts of exhaling. So That doesn't mean that you take a shorter breath on that 4 counts of inhaling. It still means you take a full, complete inhale. You just take a really big, long exhale, pulling that belly button in towards your spine. And then just back to that regular breath. Same amount of time inhaling, same amount of time to exhale. Turn your palms down on your thighs. Tip your head over to the right. Tip your head over to the left. And then side to side on your own breath. Keeping those shoulders down away from your ears, your spine long. And then hopefully it goes without saying, but really do your best to try to keep all those outside thoughts and distractions away for the hour that we're going to spend on your mat today. I know it's difficult, and I know all these thoughts come bombarding into your head. But when they do, and they will, that's for sure. But just notice that it's happening and just push them aside one by one. And just focus back on your breath and those movements with your breath. When your head gets over to the right, let's just leave it there. Making sure that you're sitting nice and tall, you're relaxing your shoulders. You're going to bring your head back up through center and over to the opposite side. Then let that chin drop down towards your chest. Roll your head around to one side and back around to the other side. So these couple of stretches for your neck, great idea to do when you get a headache. To just sit quietly, stretching your neck, working out any tension, noticing where your neck might feel tight. And I would recommend just doing a little half circle instead of a full circle with your neck. And then let's leave your chin at your chest. Your fingers, let's put them at your neck. So right where your neck and your shoulders meet, let's just give yourself a little massage with your fingers as you're looking down at your lap. Since you can't get a massage anywhere else, you'll have to give yourself one. And then leave your hands right where they are. And on an inhale breath, look up, raise your elbows up, and then send them back behind you. And a couple more times. Inhale and exhale back. A couple more times. Good, one more time. And then let's find your elbows back behind you, looking up on an inhale. And when you exhale, just bring your chin down to your chest, hands and arms still behind you. Inhale back up. And exhale back down. One more time. All right, then just neutral with your head and your neck. Bring your palms out in front of you. Pull your shoulder blades apart in a seated cat. So it's just your mid and upper back. And then you're going to release your hands, open up your palms, look up, seated cow, come back into cat, and then inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. So just on your own breath. Everything we always do is on your own breath. You just do as many as you do with your breath. All right, and then when your palms get together in front, let's just interlace your fingers, except for your pointer finger and your thumb. You're going to bring your palms up. Bring your arms back behind your ears or right at your ears. Look up. Reach, but drop the shoulders down. Then take your right arm and bring it down to the floor. Lean over. Inhale to center and then exhale as you lean, dropping your right hip down. Inhale to center and exhale over. And then just side to side. Again, on your own breath. Eyes open or shut. I would always recommend shutting your eyes when you can. It just helps you focus and concentrate on your breath. Good. Let's try to end. What did we do? We leaned to the left first, so try to lean to the right. And then when you get back to center, both arms are going to come up. And then just exhale your hands down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up and back down. One more time, really tall and back down. So if you're sitting on something, let's remove it. Except if it's your mat, leave the mat. So let's put your legs out in front, knees bent. Sit up on those sit bones, and let's just drop your knees side to side. So just twisting at your waist, nice and gentle. And then when your knees get over to the right, we're going to make this a little bigger twist. So drop them to the right, which is that way, right? Yeah. And then your left arm is going to come over. You're going to twist at your waist, and you're going to kind of try to resist the twist. Left arm is going to, or left hand is going to try to reach the right hand. Twist at the waist, try to get your shoulders square to the back of your mat. Relax the shoulders down, lift up through the crown of your head, push down into the right hip, and breathe. Take one more breath. Come back around the center. Let's go to the other side. So drop your knees over to the left. Right hand comes over to the left. And as always, notice any difference between the right side and the left side. Lifting up through that crown of your head. Feeling the twist at your waist, not at your hips, at your waist. Big, deep breath. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Inhale back to center. We're going to do it one more time with a little bit of a change. So now you're going to take your left hand, instead of putting it on the floor, you're going to reach up to the left corner and just try to get a really nice stretch from your fingers down through your armpit, through your rib cage. Press down into your right hand and up through that left. Almost like you're going to try to lift your right hip off your mat. One more breath. And then come back to center. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, feel those opposing forces from your fingers down towards your hip, elongating through your armpit. And breathe. One more breath. Come back to center. And then we're going to swing around onto your hands and knees. And we are going to do some shoulder work. So be mindful of your shoulders if you have some issues. If you just want to hang out, you want to go get something to drink or go to the bathroom or whatever if you have shoulder issues. But I will give you lots of options, so don't worry. If you got a pillow and you want to grab it, we're just going to do thread the needle with some balance if you want it. So take your right hand, well, take both hands and put them right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips, toes pointing away. Take your right hand and just walk it forward about an inch. Take your left hand, palm up, and slide it right underneath your right armpit. And keep sliding it until you're twisting and your left shoulder and left ear is on your mat. And then you can stay right here if that feels okay. If you have some shoulder issues and this doesn't feel good, feel free to put a pillow underneath your left shoulder. You can just take your right arm and reach it straight up, 90-degree angle with those arms. And then if you want, you can add a balance by taking that right leg, pointing your toes, straightening your leg, lifting it back up, and then adding more of a balance by taking that right arm back up towards the ceiling. So you want to find your focal point. So stretching your shoulders, strengthening your shoulders, working your core and your balance. Take one more breath wherever you are. And slowly come out of that. So the knee that was down, that's your left one. I want you to send that leg straight back and push through that heel. Stretching out that calf, lengthening that leg, your hamstring, and breathing. All right, then we got the other side. So both knees down underneath your hips, left hand a little bit forward, right palm under. Come all the way onto that right shoulder. And again, stay there if that feels good for you. If that's enough, it's perfectly fine. That's thread the needle, and that is great for your right shoulder. Put a pillow under there if you need it. And then add any option that you want. The left leg can go back. Your left fingers can stay on the floor. Your leg could be down. The left arm can reach up. So you got to find right at that tipping point, a little bit of weight on those right hands. Try not to put too much weight on your head. Lift up through those hands if one is up, out through those toes, and breathe. And if you feel really balanced, all you got to do is shut your eyes to make it a little bit more difficult. 2 more breaths. And then let's come out of that nice and slow. It's your right leg that's going to go straight back. Just push through that heel. Get that leg lengthened a little bit since it was bent. And then since we're right here, already almost in plank, why don't we just do a little plank flow thingy-mabobby. So let's find plank. So your knees can be down or not. You could be on your toes, so just find your plank, but you want to be with your hands down, because what we're going to do is find plank, looking down, then you're going to open up to the right inside plank. We're going to hold for about 3 breaths. You can put your left knee down if you need to. Then you're going to come back into plank for 3 breaths. Then you're going to open up to the left. Come back down to regular plank. We're going to do that 2 more times. 3 breaths in each. Open to the right. Back to plank. Open left. Back to plank. Open to the right. Don't fall over. Back to plank. And over to the left. Getting a little bit more wobbly now. Back to plank and into child's pose. All right, so for those of you who did boot camp with me an hour ago, now I feel better. My shoulders don't feel better, but I feel better now that I didn't shortchange you. All right, let's come up into down dog. Pushing your hips up. Pushing your heels down and breathing. All right, bend your knees, walk your hands forward, or your feet forward, your hands back, and then slowly walk up your legs. Bringing your arms all the way up, and exhaling your hands at your side. All right, just face forward on your mat. Get your toes in line with each other. Fix your clothes and your hair if you need to. Hands either at your heart or your side. Eyes shut. And just breathe. So your shoulders are down your back. Your quadricep muscles are engaged. You're just breathing. Nice, quiet, still, deep breaths. On an inhale breath, raise your arms up overhead. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale and come right back up. Exhale and just fold forward. And inhale right back up. So just on your own breath, it's mountain pose, Tadasana, and forward fold, Uttanasana. So your knees can be slightly bent. You should just feel the back side of your legs working. Stretching as you come down and working as you come up. If you feel it in your low back, I want you to bend your knees and possibly just come down halfway. I do not want you to feel pain in your low back. Lead with your heart, fold at your hip. one more time. So whenever you get back to mountain pose, just hang out there. Hands either at your heart or at your side, eyes shut. All right, so we have not done a lot of balance poses lately, so let's work on some balance today. So let's start on your right foot, and let's just work on the basic tree pose. So a couple different options. If you know what you're doing in tree and you want to go right into it, feel free, but you're just going to have to hold it longer while I talk. So you shift your weight to your right foot. Your left toes can be down, or you put your left foot, on your lower leg, and your left knee bends and opens. So it's a hip opener, so you should feel it in your left hip. And this leg also can be on your inner thigh. My knee does not bend like that anymore. It should not be on your knee joint though, so it's lower leg or inner thigh, or that foot can be all the way up into your hip joint if you can do that. You want to press that foot against your standing leg so you create some energy there, and then hands wherever, at your heart, at your side. You grow your tree if you'd like. You can clasp your hands over your head, and you just breathe. So 3 or 4 more breaths. Same leg. See if you can just come into warrior 3. So soften your right knee, bend forward at your hip, bring your arms out in front or out to the side, looking straight down, getting your hips as even to the floor as possible, reaching out through your back heel or your toes, out through your fingers. 3 more breaths. All right, just come back to center. Both feet are wide, and just do a little rotation through your spine. And we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So balance. Now on your left foot, slightly bend your knee. Find your tree, whatever that might be. It does not have to be the same as the other side. Find where you want to be. Again, you want to press the right heel or the right foot into your left leg, which is why you don't want to press on any of those joints. If your hands are at your center, you're also creating some of that pressure and energy. It will help you balance, I promise, if you really press. 5 breaths, wherever you can be. Find your focal point and breathe. See if you can come into warrior 3 right from tree. So tip forward, arms doing whatever. If they need to be out at the side, if you need to hold on to something, try to drop your right hip down a little bit so your hips are even with the floor the best you can. Two more breaths. Both feet on the floor, widen your feet again, and just do a little rotation. All right, So let's come up to the front of your mat. If you have a block and you want to use it, bring it up there. If you have a couple books, we're just going to do some lunges. So sometimes people like to put their hands on something, but you can use your thighs also. So let's inhale your arms up. Let's exhale as you fold forward. Take your left leg and step it back. And get your right knee over your right ankle. So let's go ahead and drop your left knee down for now. And just make sure that this right knee is above your ankle or a little bit behind. And your right knee is in your right armpit. So this is where, again, that block or some stack of books, or maybe even just your hand on your thigh, because you want your shoulders to be higher than your hips. You want to press that left hip forward, and you want to be looking at the front of your mat. You don't want to be drooping your head down. So keep your head, your neck, and your spine all in alignment. And if it feels better or you want a little bit more of a challenge, please go ahead and lift up that knee in the back. If you need to adjust that foot a little bit out to the right, you want to set your hands down on the inside of your leg. That's fine as well. Just breathe. One more breath. You're going to try to take that right leg back to meet your left leg in downward dog. So do whatever you'd like in down dog. You can do a little walking the dog. Maybe notice how your hips feel, right side, left side. And then you're going to take your left foot and just bring it forward. So if you need to grab it with your hand, position your foot where you need to. Set that back knee down for now. You can step your left foot out a little bit. Put your hands on the mat or on your leg, thigh. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you feel this in your hip flexor on that right side. So you can either come up. I find this a little bit hard on my knees. So there's a lot of pressure there. So you can tuck your toes and bring your knee up if you want. So that left knee is either tucked in your armpit with your hand on the outside of your foot, or the knee is on the outside of your hand, but right there by your armpit for sure. Hips are lower than your shoulders. You're pushing that right hip forward and down. Lengthen that whole front side of your right leg. You have about 3 more breaths. Let's find down dog again. So again, play around in down dog if you need to. Pump your heels. Sway your hips around. All right, you're going to bring your right foot forward again. We're going to find that lunge again. Put your left knee down. Now everybody's going to walk their right foot out. So maybe about halfway on your mat, halfway off, maybe all the way off. You're going to put your left hand more in the middle of your mat and your right hand on your thigh. And then you're going to start to twist at your waist and find twisting lunge, reaching that right arm up. And then you have some options, of course. You can stay here with your hand on your thigh. You can bring the arm up, like I said. You could bring your knee up. And then if you'd like to make it a little bit more challenging, you can bring your upper body up And bring your arms out to the sides, looking back at that right palm. So you decide where you'd like to be, but your left hip down and forward, right knee bent over or behind your ankle, but not forward of it. One more breath. Right hand down, hips go high, down dog. All right, left leg, let's do the same thing. Bring that forward, drop your knee to get situated. Walk your left leg out, left foot out. Put your right hand a little bit closer underneath your face. Start twisting to your left. And then find your option. Arm up, knee down or up. Upper body up if you want. You decide, does not have to be the same as the other side. So some people like to say you should do the same thing on each side. I think you should do what feels right on each side and try to work towards getting the side that seems a little weaker to be as strong as the other side. But I wouldn't take the stronger side weaker. But of course, it is up to you. You own your own body, so you do what you think is right. One more breath. All you're going to do is come back into child's pose. So take your left foot back. Take your knees wide. Push your hips back, your forehead down. Your hips are back into your heels, but your pelvis is tipped forward a little bit, kind of in that, when we do cat and cow, it's more in a cow tilt. And then just break your hips up a little bit, bring your knees back in line. I just want you to come forward on your belly, and I just want you to find a back bend. So your elbows can be underneath your what are these? Shoulders, palms down, toes pointing away. Somebody's lifting you up through the crown of your head. And you're breathing. So lengthen, eyes shut. Feel that nice back bend. Push down into your thighs, up through the crown of your head, out through your toes. Squeeze those quadricep muscles. See if that doesn't lift your lower legs off the mat. One more breath. All right, then let's come up into down dog. So put your hands at your chest. Bring yourself up through plank and then up through into down dog. Let's bring your left foot high. Bend your knee and then swing that leg through. We're going to find pigeon or swan. But I am going to make a modification for myself. So your left knee bends. You can be on your thigh with that right leg straight back and your upper body up, or you can be over here with me on your left hip with your right knee bent. This is what I would recommend, but again, everybody's different, so you do what feels right. If you're going to be in swan or pigeon, your left knee can be more bent, and if you're going to be at 90-90, then your knees are bent more at 90 degrees, thus the name 90-90. So everybody's going to sit up nice and tall. on an inhale, and then everybody on an exhale is going to try to just walk their upper body out through their hips, but pressing your hips back and reaching out through the crown of your head. So imagine somebody's holding onto your hips and pulling you back, but somebody is grabbing a little string from the crown of your head and pulling you gently to the front of your mat. So lengthen your torso, right side, left side, as equally as possible. Should feel a really nice stretch on the left side of your hips, and then the front side of your hip on the right side if your right leg is straight back. One more breath. Let's push back up into downward facing dog. Let's do a little walking the dog for sure. So bend one knee, push the other heel down, then switch, then switch, then switch, and then bring that right leg up, bend the knee, swing the leg forward. Find your pigeon or swan if you want, so you can be here. Just make sure that you're as even as possible with your hips. You're on that left thigh, and then you come forward. If you want to just come over onto that hip, you're going to bend your knees at 90-90, sit up nice and tall, and come forward. Again, you do what's right for your body. You're going to feel uncomfortable in this position either way, but I don't want you to feel any pain. Just feel like pigeon or swan can be a little bit dicey on your tendons and your joints. So just be careful. You got about 4 or 5 more breaths here. So just try to relax, lengthening your torso, inhaling as you do that, and then exhaling as you try to fold more forward. Alright, sitting up nice and tall. Let's bring your legs around. Let's lay back on your back. If you have a strap or a towel, that would be great. If you don't, you can just use your hands. But once you get here, let's just give yourself a big full body stretch. So stretch out your arms overhead, lengthen your legs away, pointing your toes, then flex your feet. Pull your belly button in towards your spine like you're trying to put on a pair of jeans that's about one size too small. All right, and then release that. Relax your shoulders, bend your knees. Put your right leg up towards the ceiling with that strap or towel around the ball of your foot. So if you have hamstring issues, you are going to bend your knee, or maybe even skip this pose altogether. You're going to bend or straighten your left leg, whatever feels good for you. So if it's straight, you should feel a nice stretch still in that hip flexor on the left side. But the primary focus obviously is your calf and your hamstring on the right leg. So flex your right foot, push the heel up, push the hip down, and breathe. So you get a really nice lower body stretch here with these 3 poses we're about to do on each side, where your spine is supported, your low back feels nice and cozy into your mat. All right, let's drop that leg open to the right. So the best you can, trying to get that 90-degree angle or a little bigger. Left arm out to the side. Left leg extended straight away. And left butt cheek on the floor the best you can. So maybe you even put your left hand at your hip bone right there, and try to push your hips open. Or just really think about pushing that left glute area down towards the mat. And breathe. Let's bring that leg up through center and drop it all the way over to the other side. So big old twist at your waist. This is like my favorite yoga pose ever, except for legs up the wall. Looking up or to the right. Looking to the right will make it deeper. Putting your right hand on your rib cage. And kind of pulling to the right will make it deeper as well. Making it easier would be to bend your left knee. One more breath. Come on back to center. Put that right foot down. Extend your left leg up. Extend the right leg straight or keep it bent, whatever feels good. Notice the difference right away. This should feel a little tight compared to your right leg. So you just breathe and try to relax. And just give this leg a couple more breaths. Flex your foot, push your hip down, push your heel up. Don't forget that breath. Let's drop that leg over to the left. Right arm out to the side, right leg straight if it was bent. Big deep breaths. Use a breath to bring that leg up through center and over to the other side. Left arm out to the other side. Feel that nice twist at your waist. Make any adjustments you need to. Try to relax your upper body into the mat. And breathe. Let go of that strap or towel. Bring your leg back to center. Give yourself a little hug. If you want to move yourself to the wall and put your legs up the wall, please feel free to do that. If you're just going to stay on your mat, just lower your legs down nice and easy. Let your legs fall apart. Let your arms stay at your side. Palms up. Walk your shoulders down away from your ears. Eyes shut with your towel or an eye pillow over your eyes. And just quiet and still the best you can. Trying just to concentrate on your breath for the next couple minutes. I promise I'll wake you up. So just do your best to relax completely into your mat. Just focusing on your inhales and your exhales. As quiet and as still as you can be. Let's start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, just slowly, gently waking yourself back up. You can stretch your arms up over your head and give yourself a big full body stretch. You can breathe however you'd like through your mouth now if that's more comfortable. You can drop your knees side to side. You can find a side that feels good. Just hang out there for a breath or two. And then just slowly push yourself back up to a seated position. Sort of where we started. And then we'll take a couple of breaths together wherever you're at. So palms open, let's inhale up. Big exhale. 2 more times, inhale. And 1 more time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. Tomorrow at 9:30 is power yoga, so I'll see you for that. Drop me a note on what you're doing today. I already cleaned out my sock drawer in between boot camp and yoga, so got nothing else to do today. Have a fabulous day. Again, just let me know what you're doing, what you'd like to see later on in the week. Thank you, Marianne, for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Have a fabulous day. Thanks, Beth. Thanks, Pam. Bye.